Tuesday, February 18th, if everybody could rise to say the pledge. Call roll.
Trustee Brown?
Here.
Trustee Clark? Trustee Lynch?
Here.
Trustee Rowe? Trustee Taylor? Present. Trustee Williams?
Present. I believe Trustee Holt is going to join us to the phone. As soon as the prime is ready, I think she's so, would somebody like to make a motion for the regular board meeting minutes of February 4th, 2025?
So moved.
Wait a second.
Second.
Trustee Brown, any questions or corrections? Clerk Williams, call roll.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Taylor? Yes. Trustee Rowe? Trustee Lynch? Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Brian, is Trustee Holt supposed to call in?
Trustee Roll is trying to call in right now.
Treasurer report, Brian.
Thank you, Mayor. For bills payable, February 15th, corporate is $218,929. Motor fuel tax was $726,527.98. Sewer and water, $2,066,442.14. Foreign fire insurance, $2,508. Glenwood Golf Course, $20,399.21. Tip Halsted North, $4,062.53. Total for all funds of $3,038,869.16. Kind of going with these numbers, there is one transfer coming out of an enterprise fund from sewer and water to corporate to repay the home and disposal fees that are collected on the utility bills. And that dollar amount is $62,373.90. A couple other notes about the bills payable, especially sewer and water. You have over $2 million to spend there. 1.6 million of it, a little bit over 1.6 million of it, is associated to the Arcola Park project, paying back Pan Oceanic for their fees, of which all of that is refundable or coming back to us via the MRW grant. And then that leaves $262,290 that's going to be coming out of sewer and water, which will probably cause us to go over because we did not have that in the original budget. We do have that in the fund balance, but it's just not a budgeted item. Same thing goes with the MFT expenses of $700,000. That was all primarily the work to resurface in the village that was approved by the board. Most of this is associated to the Illinois, Rebuild Illinois Fund. But here again, we did not have that complete that complete amount in the budget. We do have it in the fund balance, and we're probably gonna have to spend out the fund balance about $360,000.
Somebody like to make a motion to approve the treasurer's report, the bills payable?
So moved.
Trustee Taylor, do you have a second? Trustee Clark, any questions?
I have a few questions. Mayor, we had a discussion a few times about the financial spreadsheet relates to the fire department. Still okay.
You can send it out to you.
I did not, I forgot, I'm sorry.
We discussed this for months here. We got a
Can you go make a copy?
$2 million project.
I'll do that after I do payroll.
Beyond that, I don't know, if you're initial with day on that basis, but how do we end up, not adequately budgeting for this project for the, is that, are we getting 100% real, we're not getting 100% reimbursement for the are
For that $1.6 million, yes, the other $262,000, no, that's coming out of the sewer water fund.
and that's gonna put us over budget, correct?
Correct.
What happened there, you know, process over budget? I'm sorry.
I'm not sure about the budget, but just the history of the project was that the grant amount, if you read the IGA, the grant amount is set by the value of the homes that you are protecting. The grant amount was not set by the construction cost of the project. We tried our best to keep the cost estimate down as much as possible. IGA comes back from 2014, something like that. In general, costs have gone up. It just worked out that way. It's not a surprise, we knew since the bid opening last April that it was gonna be that high.
I'm missing something, Brian. Anything, you word anything, indicating that we would go over?
Well, I believe in the original approval that the board did approve the project in total, did spell out that only X amount of the funds were gonna come from the MRW, and then the rest was village funds.
And so the other spend down that we'll have to use, what was that amount?
The $262,290.
And that's specifically for what amount?
That's the remaining amount going to Pan Oceanic that was not refundable.
And these both come from general fund
That would come out of the sewer water fund.
now? No, the 160,000, that's coming from the sewer fund.
The $262,000 is going to come out of the sewer water fund.
And the 160,000,
The $1,623,000 still comes out of sewer water, but it will be reimbursed when you get the check from Cook County.
And we did receive the 100% reimbursement for the purchase of those 9 houses.
I just have one other question. Did we, and I could be mistaken, but did we go up on the cost for a marketing professional legitimate certification?
No.
Okay. I don't remember it being this amount, I thought it was just like $3,000.
So what you're probably seeing is if there's any reimbursables in there,
No.
that's gonna be the difference. I can pull the invoice, but the retainer is one amount, if there's anything over that, then it's just gonna be something to be reimbursed.
Okay. This just said same. All right. And lastly, Brian, do you know where we are today against our budget?
That was in the packet that I printed out up here. It's hard to talk to the budget in total because I'll just talk on the revenue side. One of our biggest components is still yet to come, which is the first installment of the property tax value for the year, which has our incomes down or short right now more than the 75% you would say we should be based on through January. On the expense side, I believe we're good, and I forgot to grab that sheet, but I believe we are at 72% of the year's budget from the expenses when you look at all of the operational funds. So that is within line that, 75% is what we kind of would be at with the number of months that we're through. But the revenue side is kind of skewed based on the timing of.
So our budget was a little over 13 million, and we're at 75% of it already. That's a little wild. 5 months left in the year? Is there a?
We have February, March, April left of what I put in the packet today.
December 75%?
That would be 75%, and on the expense side, we're about 72%.
Is there any other questions? We're good until roll.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
No.
Trustee, Rowe? Trustee Taylor? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Payroll.
Payroll as of the date of February 7th, corporate was $148,179.11. Sewer and water, $22,445.36. Paid on call, $13,179.38. Elected positions, $1,071.31. Glenwood Golf Course, $10,562.96. Vendor checks, $1,619.54. Overtime, police overtime was $15,056.11. Reimbursable was $355.82. Sewer and water was $1,585.80. Public Works overtime, $853.89. Economic development stipend, $461.54. And deputy clerk stipend, $192.31. For a total payroll of $215,207.31.
Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the payroll?
So moved.
Trustee Lynch, there's a second. Trustee Clark, any questions?
I have a question. Chief, can you speak to why the police overtime is $15,000?
Sure. As this payroll, this pay period, which was January 20th, I believe, to February 2nd, we're still dealing with the being down 5 officers. Not so much exactly on paper. We were on paper for this payroll. We were down to 1 vacant position. One of our officers still deployed overseas. He's coming back again, hopefully late spring. We have 1 supervisor who's been on long-term off-duty injury since October, so we're down that position still. And we had 2 people in field training who are on our roster, but they are not actively able to fulfill the duties. They're still in training. So in this period, the majority of it was backfilling for benefit time off, which is vacation or comp time, sick time, which included officers being sick. There's 2 officers who are taking FMLA leave. There was also, at the end of this pay period, there was a aggravated discharge of firearm between 2, a disturbance between neighbors. So when one party was shooting at the other, that's a very serious offense. So our detectives were called out to investigate that, and within 2 days they had tracked down the offender, the vehicle, and recovered the gun. And then again, when shootings inside our residential areas between neighbors, or anyone, that's something we're going to investigate quickly to the fullest to apprehend the offenders. So we have follow-up investigation call overtime for that, as well as we had some court cases for some DUIs and things like that. So officers who are work midnight shift, they arrest them for DUI when they go to court. It's normally on their off-duty time because the court's not in the middle of the night. So we have to, by the contract, we have to pay them, compensate that by overtime. We had watch community pay, and that is because we're down 1 supervisor, so we're not starting on to be the senior most officers, the acting officer in charge of that contractual amount where they get reimbursed for acting OIC for the shift. Was a major accident call out for another agency. Maintenance training for our SWAT team officer has to go to mandatory training. We try to schedule that on their duty days, but we don't run the SWAT team, so we do have to have members on it and keep up with the national technical NTUA standards. There's so much maintenance training they have to go through monthly just to keep up with their certifications, as well as the mandates from the Safety Act and our own ABAC training to keep our officers certified. The good news is, and our officer who has been off, our sergeant who was off since last October for torn bicep has returned to work last Wednesday, and one of our 2 field training officers completed field training literally yesterday. We did, I'm sure you saw Officer Schmidt, Detective Schmidt did retire last week, but that put us down, but with the officer returning from injury and the officer who was completing field training, we're better than we were a couple weeks ago and continuing on. Again, this is something that, we've been expecting this to happen. Myself and Commissioner Moore were the harbingers a couple years ago. We were letting the board know that this wave of retirements is coming in. It will probably continue until about end of 26 or 2027. We expect another officer to retire at the end of May. So we've got a test coming up in March. We're still trying to hire laterals, which we got lucky. We had 2 real good laterals that we recently hired. We're trying to get more. So yeah, those are the brunt of it is backfilling these vacancies. But our officer who's deployed is supposed to come back in end of April, early May, so that will help tremendously.
So do you see the overtime going down soon?
Hopefully, the drivers that, in this case, are benefit time off and just, some kind of backfilling of being down officers. Normally, we're at full staff. If somebody takes a vacation day or calls out sick, we don't have to backfill. But because we're down, we have to hire back off duty or force on duty to stay. There's the International Association of Chiefs of Police just put out their survey about a month or so ago. I passed it out to the commission, but worldwide, the state of recruitment retention with continuing crisis, is hard. First responders in the door now, we're all trying to compete for each other's officers, and the officer, back when I first hired 26 years ago, we got hired for a department, we're competing, 100 of us, 200 for one position. It's not like that anymore. We're lucky to get several candidates who are qualified, and the ones that we do have are also qualified for other lists in the area. So we, our techs, when they're doing backgrounds, they recognize names, they call their counterparts. Hey, are you guys doing the background of this officer? Yeah, we are. Are you guys that? Okay. And then it's an employee's market. They usually go to the department, they can cherry pick what departments by what benefits, salaries they have. So we're trying to, we can't compete. We're not in a bad spot as far as manpower, but we're always trying to get to our full staff. It's been a struggle, but it's just the state of facts the way it is today.
Thank you. Questions?
I have one. I'm sorry. I have to ask this to you. Brian, the service fee, the ladder service testing fee, unless my eyes are pretty sure, it looks like that's coming from the corporate account. Why don't we charge that to the foreign firefighters insurance fund? Why are we not tapping into those funds before we come to general funds?
So the foreign fire, and this is my understanding to it, has to come out of the fire commission as far as being agreed upon and going against that. So if it's not coming out of that because of lack of direction, we have to take it out of the corporate budget.
So perhaps let me ask, Commissioner Mitchell, is there a reason we don't go to the foreign firefighters fund first before we come to the general account?
It's actually a statute with the state of Illinois.
Yeah, it's by statute, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mayor. By statute, the state of Illinois requires that foreign fire insurance revenue that we collect needs to be spent by the Foreign Fire Insurance Board, and they fully control that, and they need to meet and vote and turn those expenses. We don't get a say in what that is done.
No, I understood that, what Brian said. I guess my concern is do we even push some of these fire expenses to the foreign firefighters commission to try and get them to pay for this, or, because it seems like we just go directly to the.
Yeah, we can ask them to do that.
I mean, that's what the fund is for, right? I mean, it's a fund.
I know they use some of the funds for the new fire station. Yeah, we did vote on that.
Okay, if possible, like, in simplify at least what's applicable, we should see if we can get, that money from the former firefighters insurance, especially these trainings, these exercises. You know, obviously they have the final decision, but at least we owe it to explore, if they have a balance.
Any other questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll for payroll.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
trustee Clark,
Yes.
trustee Lynch,
Yes.
trustee Rowe. Okay. Trustee Taylor,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Would somebody like to make a motion for no participation by trustee Roll? Trustee Clark, with a second. Trustee Taylor. Any questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
all right. Trustee Brown,
Yes.
trustee Clark,
Yes.
trustee Lynch,
Yes.
trustee Rowe. Trustee Taylor, yes. Trustee Williams.
So the meeting is now open to the public for anything you want to bring up to the board. Just come up, write your name and address, and address the board.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. Kathy Paxton from 30 Union Street. Okay. First thing I want to bring out is I think we need to make a correction on our minutes. It stated at the bottom of the minutes that lastly, I asked you, Mayor, or what was the company that was being paid for economic development. Your government stated that it was no company that Kevin Wash's economic development for the village of Glenwood. And then you also asked, when I had brought up about the $1,000 that were being paid out monthly, you asked me what was the date, and I said to you that I would get that to you the next day. That date was February 19th, 2019. Okay? Okay, the second thing I'm going to bring out is also on that February 19th meeting, Octavia asked you to put on the agenda a plan for transition of the position that you then stated that you could not make that request. She asked for that because, and I think you have a packet, that it was stated, she asked you what was the role of the village administrator. You replied day-to-day operation, and also she asked you who is going to handle the economic development, and you replied the village administrator will handle that with the help of Chief Wash. She then asked you, why are you paying for both positions? You said, Chief Wash understands it, they're going on their day-to-day operation, and that he needed to help him out for the near future. She then expressed, why are we paying $110,000 to the VA and $1,000 to Kevin Wash? And he stated that he needed the help. So the question still comes up. $1,000 a month, supposed to be initially for a year. It ended up being 6 years. That's $72,000 paid out to help for economic development. Now, we're still, as you stated in the last meeting, that Kevin Wash was the economic development. Why are we now still paying $923 per month? That's another $11,000 a year for economic development. A person can't learn that in a year, but now we went 6 years and going on into the 7th year. So I can't understand that. Can you explain that?
So maybe I can bring some light to some of this. And I know Mr. Moore sent out a communication to the board that I was made aware of. When we went back to some of the notes, and I want to say, Mr. Moore, you referenced that in the documentation you sent out. That amount for Kevin Welsh was to be paid for economic development. As you know, the board holds on to a budget that was continuously budgeted by the board. At one point, we had a discussion in terms of bringing a consultant in. Once I told the board what the cost of the consultant would be, then that was then said, no, we're going to do a consultant. As well, since then, as you know, we were out of the finance director, we were out of someone in HR. Those things have been taken over by me for the last year until we had Brian and Jim come on board. So we go back to saying, well, we'll be moving for economic development. Every week, we still have a group meeting on economic development. That is consisted of the engineer, the mayor, the attorney, and help. So when we keep going saying that we're just paying for something that we're not doing, I mean, there's still costs that we're saving a great deal on in terms of we brought a consultant in or we brought a firm in to do economic development. So continuously you come back and say, well, we're just paying for training. No, that was not, there was no agreement. Mr. Moore and I had a conversation earlier this week. Maybe we should have a conversation with him after the meeting. But Mayor, I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but that's kind of how we work with the amount for economic development.
$1,000 for a month for 6 years?
Do you know what that economic development consultant cost was?
Well, according to the notes, you were supposed to be taking care of that only with the assistant. So now you're saying that we need 5 to 6 more people to help you on economic development?
No, what I'm saying is that the board has the ability to make a change. The board decided on the budgeting process for every year to continue paying that stipend to Kevin Welsh. That had nothing to do whether I was able to do it or not. It was based on a decision made by the board.
So Mayor, you agreed to that, to pay out that amount of money for economic development. And we don't get any reports, we don't know.
Well, first I'll read the minutes from the February 19th, 2019 board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
If we hired a consultant, as Brian said, you'd be paying a lot more money. We hired a gentleman to market the plaza for us. We didn't pay him any money, but he didn't bring any projects.
And what additional projects, I mean, I think it makes sense. What additional projects now that we have since 2019, other than Chocolate and what other projects, what other businesses has it brought in?
We were able to keep Morrison Tining's group. They did an 80,000 square foot addition on their building.
They were already here though when,
They were going to go to Indiana because of the tax situation, so we were able to save them. There's a new trucking company right by Glenwood Academy. It's, they're going to be, I have their corporate headquarters. I mean, there's just numerous things that we've done in town. Got a lead stock coming. Delta Sonic is purchasing the theater lot.
they need to do something about the sound the other day, especially it's a mess on home.
That's why we talked to them.
I still think, so we're still paying out.
Yes, and it's very minimal. $1,000 a month is minimal,
So we're just gonna continue paying that indefinite?
at least in the near future.
I really think that, that's appalling, because not only are we paying that amount out for economic development, that same person is receiving salary for fire chief, building inspector, Mavis ambulance, and of course, economic development. That's 4 positions, 4 salaries, 1 person.
He doesn't work for Mavis.
He doesn't get any money from that.
Not for Mavis.
Okay, our tax bill showed on there that we are $17,402 short Glenwood for pension and health care. What are we going to do about that?
We usually pay a little extra every year for it. Obviously, pensions in the whole south suburbs are a problem. There's no question about that. Okay.
The village gets an annual actuarial report, and you fund the recommended contribution, the annual required contribution. There's a state law that says you have to be funded 90% funded by 2040, so the village is on track to do that. OPEB is a different animal. The village pays as you go. So other post-employment benefits after retirement, the village pays as it's incurred. So it's a GASB requirement, GASB statement that requires you to put it, the liability on the books, but the village has to just pay it as it's incurred.
Okay, also back to, you said that it's going to be indefinite, that we're going to pay $1,000 a month for economic development
I
indefinitely.
said at least for the near future. I didn't say in perpetuity.
Well, yeah, that's what you said still back in 2019, that you could not make a commitment. So, in other words, this is just indefinite, right?
I just told you, we will evaluate it and make a decision down the road. But right now,
That's something that will be brought to the board, or will be residents will be made aware of?
yes, it will come to the board.
Okay. And also, do we have our financial report that we've been promised?
But it was in the packet.
No, you said that it would be with the agendas.
What?
You said it would be with the agenda for the next meetings.
It was in the packet, not mine.
Okay. And for the trustees or anybody else that thinks that someone has to share with me information, past information, I keep the agenda. I keep the minutes. Right here, it's from 22 up to right now, and at home or in my garage, I have the rest. So I don't need anybody to share with me information. I come to all of meetings.
Good evening, everyone. Leon Moore, 318 Blackstone. I'm going to try to clear up some of the discussion. I have my own agenda with a lot of the items that have been discussed. I have some information that may be helpful with respect to a number of them. One of which, I heard the discussion in terms of the reimbursement for the purchase of those homes in respect to the project. I was on finance at the time. We were tracking as to whether or not we received that money, and I'm not sure what I heard from Anthony. Did we get reimbursed? I did, pardon?
We did get reimbursed.
So, and the reason I asked that because we're supposed to go back, it came out of the water fund, and that money was supposed to go on 50-50 with the agreement with with the agency in terms of that. And I know when we purchased those homes on November 2019, we bought those homes and we signed off, took money out of the waterfront. Gave checks to Kevin, I'm sorry, to Carrie, and Dolly and those people.
Anyway, I also check, I know we got a, board letter, but I don't, and I could be wrong, but because I remember that being a contentious conversation, I don't remember the board receiving action from us, but I could be wrong.
I don't have the exact date, but we did receive the funds.
We received, I understand that it was more than just the 50% that we're entitled to given the order.
Yes, we got 100%.
You got 100% of the purchase price of the homes.
Correct.
that money went back into, okay, but did it go back into the water fund? Was that where?
I believe so, and I would like to double check that.
Okay, you're gonna say, I just like to keep track of where the money came in and then where the money got deposited. Okay, so,
We had to negotiate with them because some of the houses were higher than.
yeah, I understood that part. Okay, the other issue that came up that I want to clarify is, respect to the stipend, okay? And I looked up the minutes as well in terms of how that all came about. But I also looked up the qualifications of the, when we announced the position, one of the qualifications that it indicates that the person will have extensive accomplishments in economic development. That was the announcement. That's in 2018 when we were looking for the administrator. And so, that's the backdrop in terms of when the board decided to hire Mr. Mitchell. It was with the idea, as Kathy indicated, with a period of time to give that individual a chance to catch up and take over that part of the responsibility. And so that's it. That was pretty much it. In those 2019 minutes, I looked at them as well. And the side, and Mr. Carter's here, Mr. Williams here, I'm not sure. But in terms of setting that $1,000 stipend, that was to be a temporary issue at that time, as Octavia mentioned when she came up. And so the question is how does that keep perpetuating itself? The other issue, we submitted a report to the board in 2019 where we spoke to that issue with respect to, because Mr. Welch was doing the work, as whether or not we should transfer that responsibility to him and just go with it. It wasn't going to be like perpetual temporary period. And so I'll send you that report. We commented on it in our report in 2019, the Finance Committee's report. And Mr. Mayor, I told you I would get you a copy of that. So then, in terms of the salary setting issue, and I was not in that, it was a closed session. And when you look at the next minutes for the next month, when you guys went into closed session, we decided what you're going to compensate Mr. Mitchell. It's with the understanding, Mr. Clark, Mr. Williams there, it's with that, we give a full salary with the idea that he will transition, take over that part of the responsibility. That's the case. Now, I'm not making the case for I'm just clarifying that. This is all in the minutes of the mouse. You guys can make a decision as to how you want to continue. The reason I sent out those minutes because last time you did it with Kathy, and I was just trying to clarify, is that she was right about that discussion. So there was no terminal date when we set that amount. And so if the question that was in those minutes, it said, Octavia asked Mr. Duncan, I'm sorry, he asked the mayor as to when were you going to set the terminal date. And we said, not tonight. That's in the minutes. Not tonight, not that day. So that's the confusion. So I just want to clarify that. And then let's see, there was another one that I want to clarify, which was not my issue as well. Okay. Those were the two I think I wanted to clarify. I'm trying to do that tonight. Okay. I had some follow-up issues, and Mayor and I spoke about them. Of course, I won't into the finance thing. The one that I really want to get clarification on is the status of Tustin Gardens, Mr. Donahue.
Yes, sir.
You know, you may recall we
Yes,
discussed that.
It was sold to a tax purchaser on December 10th, 2024. I informed the village that the first notice we should get is actually called the first notice under that statute. When I did this work, it takes the county a long time to process all properties that are sold and send out a certificate that the purchaser needs to move forward. So I always had to immediately extend it right away. It took them so long to get that certificate out that didn't give you time to actually accomplish everything you had to accomplish to get the property within the initial 6-month redemption date. So I expect that will be extended. I've requested an estimate of redemption from also submitted a FOIA to the county to at least get the identity of the purchaser of those taxes, and I don't have a response to that yet.
Okay, I just want to make sure that, what does that do to our lien position in my?
Taxes trump everything else.
Absolutely, 100%. You earned your pay, that's what I.
Taxes win.
Okay.
But what would happen, the village has a mortgage, and if you were going to then proceed to foreclose on a mortgage, you would have to protect our lien by redeeming those taxes, and that would increase the amount of the mortgage indebtedness we would recover from the sale of the property. So, that's why I asked for the estimate redemption to see is it $10,000, is it 20, to see how much it actually is, because if we're going to acquire the property through our mortgage, those taxes are going to be.
And also, I know with property taxes, John, even when you requested a redemption amount, that changes.
Yeah, it changes with interest rates. Yeah, the main thing now is you got to feel for what it is. If you do need to go through a formal redemption process, we'll probably get another one that's up to pay the second.
And we,
Sorry. One of the other items came up in respect to the use of the foreign firefighters insurance amount, and Mr. Duncan and I discussed, and I know that is totally under the control of the board, of the firefighters board, but we still have the responsibility to audit and make sure that that was spent in purpose. Is that correct, John?
To spend what?
In other words, we have to still get receipts to make sure that it was spent in concert with the purpose.
Yeah,
They can't go out and just go to a strip club with that money. No, I understand that, but my point is that Mr. raised the question.
You're absolutely right. They need to spend that for relevant fire department purposes, and that's their determination to make. And you're correct. We make sure that.
Yeah, it's auditable by the board.
and the legitimacy of the purchases wasn't so much the priority of the question, it was more so ensure that we're also pushing back where appropriate for that we're utilizing corporate fund dollars, and we can have the opportunity to use this hefty fund for firefighters insurance fund.
That's a fair question.
Once we get to those expenses, I think we should have the conversation with the commission, like, hey, but that's my question.
There's no question in terms of that, and some of the other towns that go rid of their home rule, that's exactly what they do. They in effect put the firefighter insurance money before the general. So that if there's a need for the fire department has some general expense money, they also kind of like say, okay, what are you doing with your firefighter? We can't tell them what to do with it, but your only leverage is the fact that you don't have to protect the general funds. So that's my research, Mr. Nine. Is that fair?
Chief Wells just walked in.
Okay.
You want to ask him? Approved any recent foreign fire churches?
Something that, some payment, because Mr. Jansen reported the payment. An expenditure.
What's the question?
It was a question as to whether or not you reported the expenditures out of the foreign firefighter insurance.
So if you're referring to what Dion was asking, he was wondering why we didn't spend.
No, it wasn't that. It was on your report that there was an expenditure out of that fund.
Yeah, that was given to us from the fire chief based on the fire commission's position on that.
Okay, no,
But then Dion's question was referring to something that we were paying out of the general fund. Then why didn't we pay that out of the foreign fire? Well, it wasn't directed to us in that light.
No, I don't know, maybe we miscommunicated. Not so much that they were, I don't know if Mr. Lynch was saying, he did not know whether or not, he did not, as I understand, he did not say that they couldn't do it. He wanted to know what they spent it for, and could we not leverage that fund against any kind of general funds that the fire department has? That was my understanding of the question, is that right?
So, in part, it essentially, I want us, we talked about this previously, is that we would explore utilizing the foreign firefighters insurance first with appropriate or eligible expenses before we move to general funds. That was the conversation previously. And so when Brian says there's been a direction of the board requested that we do that, where appropriate, we utilize that from the, or we submit it to this commission for review. Obviously, we know we can't force them to pay for it, but I think we at least owe it that we expense it from that fund first before everything comes out of the general fund. And not to say that things don't, but I think we're eligible at least.
Okay, well, let's see, I was just trying to clarify that question because I'm not sure it was clear that we do still have responsibility to audit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Chief Walsh, you want to address that?
The statute is very clear on the foreign fire insurance tax, where there has to be a separation of authority on the spending of that. It's received by the village, it's deposited in village funds, but the authority for spending that is within the board that's established by the statute, which is members of the fire department, and each expenditure goes before them. And then it's similar to some of the forfeiture funds, state and federal, that the police have, but there's no ability for the village board to direct how that money's spent. That's the statute. That's how the statute reads. It also allows you the ability for the foreign fire money to go directly to the fire department annually and be held in separate accounts. I made the recommendation that not happen for the fact of audit and accounting, so that it's very transparent where those funds go when they're expended. But we could have established a separate receiving fund for it, and it would never come to here. So when we initiated that several years ago, when the statute was changed, my recommendation was to leave it underneath the auspices of the finance department and the audit process, and then any expenditures would be accounted for. I can tell you that over the course of the last 5, 6, or 7 years, I recommended to the Foreign Fire Board that they maintain those funds for a period of time until such time we're getting ready to move into a new station. And they've done that. So in the last several months, you see expenditures come out of the approval list of the Foreign Fire Board. And I think that totals somewhere around $65,000 or $70,000, where they bought the the interior furnishings, desks, beds, tables, chairs, all that type of stuff that wasn't TIF eligible, and expended money on EMS equipment and things recently. So that's the explanation of how it functions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. It's my agenda. That was all fine. We talked last meeting about middle sewer in terms of kind of getting a report as to their status, as well as how are we progressing in terms of updating our county. So that was a commitment, Mr. Mayor, that you indicated that we would get some feedback on that.
Yeah, we have to know before you administer.
Okay.
And a report on the.
Oh, okay, that's fine. And that's the accountant who was here tonight. We also asked that he give us an update on the audit status, as you may recall, and the explanation that we received wasn't.
Yeah, we've got to go administrator, so they will go.
Okay, because I think that, as I recall, they were saying that we were waiting for the actuary to give us the assumptions in terms of pension computations, and we were moving forward. Is that still the status that we're waiting for?
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, okay, these are my problems. And also, we're gonna have financial statements, since we're kind of like 3 months from the end of the fiscal year. We just gave you the update in terms of where we stand with respect to the revenues and the expenses up to date.
Yes.
And we're gonna talk about that.
Yes.
Okay, that takes care of my agenda.
All right, thank you.
IT software that claims to save overtime and other costs. So maybe it's staggering shifts, maybe it's staggering time off, so that the village is not on the hook for $250,000 a year in overtime. So you might want to check into that. Also, I'd like to check with the Police and Fire Commission or the chief, or you, President Gardner. If we're down to one sergeant, are we going to promote a sergeant?
We have to talk to the police and fire commission.
Do you want to promote a sergeant?
I made a decision.
Well, see, I think Sergeant Sanchez retired a year ago. So that's a pretty good time to make a decision. So, as you've heard from the chief, that you have several officers retiring over the next 2 years. You're probably going to lose Cotton, and you're probably going to lose couple others. So it might be good to have a point. Okay, let's get to the old theater parcel. I understand that you approved the project with the car wash. So, I looked along the agenda. I did not see a building in that sketch. So, what revenue is that project going to generate?
See what you saying?
I did not see a building. In other words, all I saw was a pathway from the car wash onto Arcola Drive. I saw parking spaces. I did not see any real improvements. So my question for you is, what improvements are going to be there? What size of the building, 5,000 square foot, 10,000 square foot? And what tax revenue in the village anticipates?
Have an indoor, what do you bring up? The car wash.
There's two concepts that they're working through, either a 2 or 3 unit commercial or retail center, single story, or the concept which was presented here several months ago in here and at the joint finance and economic development for this concept of a car wash club where it's a glass structure.
So what size of building would that be?
I don't have it in front of me. I'm not prepared to answer those questions. I don't know.
I understand. So, in other words, you made a decision based on no tax, no income, nothing. You made an opinion because someone said, I think I won't. That's not good to see. Second problem, was there a traffic study done for a quote? You're going to have wet cars coming out of the car wash onto a residential street right between Wendy's Drive and 931 October. I know this drive. And the fire department on October. You got the bank right there. You got to turn in to the plaza. Well, I can't call it a plaza anymore. You got to turn in there. So now you have 6 possible driveways within a 1 block area. Was there or was there not a traffic study?
There was not.
Why not? Why not?
We just decided not to.
You decided that someone said this is what we should do, so let's do it. There are options. Every real estate deal I've done for 42 years has options. Except in those of Glenwood, where you're getting one option, a gun placed to your head, to vote. When are you going to get tired of doing that, board? Are you tired yet?
I'm tired of hearing the same thing come from the same squirrel.
Well,
but I listen anyway.
this is public comment time.
But I listen anyway, okay?
Public comment time.
Even when you were on this board, you made so goddamn mistakes. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Listen to you.
Okay? No, you give half information, part information.
I give the full story.
Okay.
You're the one.
No, sir.
You're the one.
Sir, you know what? You cannot be calling people names.
I can call you
Okay?
no.
If you disagree with my opinion,
Why are you talking?
you're allowed to.
This is
Because
public comment.
Because I have a right to speak.
No, you don't.
Yes,
The
I do.
board remains quiet. I'm correcting my comment because you have nothing to offer. No intelligence. Ban this idiot. Continue. Are you done?
No, I'm not.
You're an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment.
You allow to feel any way you wish. That's your business.
Why are you talking? This is public comment.
It's because it's something I'm going to say. Am I not part of the public?
No.
I'm afraid I'm not.
I suggest you read the board rules.
I'm different. I'm different.
Read the board rules.
That's it.
Will you read the board rules for this idiot?
Don't call.
Okay. All right. Now, has the board or has the attorney sent out a demand letter to the Oaks and Tuscan Gardens?
One's been sent out.
Has there been a response?
I have to ask. Yeah, I think we had some discussions with Mike Hickos and his attorney, and I believe there's been discussions with Tuscan members.
Have you received one penny?
I'm sorry, what?
Have you received one penny since you sent the letter out?
That's to be determined based on the oaths and.
No, have you received it? Received is past tense.
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
There you go. Hey. Still like answer no questions. Okay, let's talk about spending for a minute. Okay. In 2 months, 4 board members, you spent $7.3 million. As long as I want there. I'll be your own mentor. How's that sound?
It doesn't.
Okay. $7.3 million in 2 months. What is the revenue that we received in the last 2 months? You don't know that. You spent 7.3. What have you taken in the last 2 months?
Well, part of that's from grant money that we received for the park.
Oh, really? Okay. So how much grant money have you received this year, January and February, from the grant?
$1.2 million from County.
I've been hearing these different numbers, or 1.2 or 1.4. I've never seen any proof of that money.
Well, the reason that the Army Corps of Engineers does the construction.
But I've never seen any proof. I don't see it in the balance sheet. So, let me read a letter to you regarding the park, dated March 20th, 2015. Okay? So, in this letter, it says that the village is going to get $1,050,909. Okay? But it also says the village of Glenwood is probably going to have to contribute $350,000, $330,000. Now that's 2015, that's 10 years ago. So you're spending money today, okay, that was allocated 10 years ago. And as you found out at the fire station, costs increase. So my concern is, I have a total here of, let's see, so many papers. Okay, give me this right now. Total of $16 million for the Park Drive project. That's what I have on my sheet. But I only have 2 grants totaling a little over $4.5 million. So my concern is the taxpayers, as usual, will be on the hook for any money or any grants that don't come. You realize there might be a federal grant freeze. So even though the money was allocated, you might not receive it. Okay? So what is the plan for the village if grant monies promised don't come to fruition?
The Polo Park is no guarantee grant, not a federal grant.
I just read the letter from FEMA. FEMA is federal emergency management agency.
FEMA is the one that helps us buy the houses.
I understand that. I understand that.
You already received that.
So you received some money. Because I never saw any accounting while I was a board member with any of that park project. I even asked, if you recall, in a closed session, that the funds be audited.
We received it.
See, trust me. Because we've had a lot of experience together, right? All right, now, last thing, as Kathy brought up, you like to brag that you got $25 million in the bank. You love saying that at all functions.
Because it's true.
Okay, well, let's go over that. How much do you have in IEPA loans? Do you know?
You know, Dave?
I can tell you, I got it right in front of me. You know I do. $1 million. How much do you have in GO bonds?
The GO bond, we just have the one bond that you took out, I think it's in 2010, and
9 million.
that was on the board.
9 million. So that's 10 million there in debt.
It wasn't on the board, but I mean, it was sitting.
Let's not talk about responsibility. For the last 10 years, you've been completely responsible for everything. Am I right or wrong? Okay, then we've got $17 million in pension and promised health care to retirees. You got people retiring every day. You got a fire department that only has 2 members paying to the pension. And you have firefighters that are retiring. So how are these pension debts going to change? So I'm already over with the GO bonds, the IEPA loans, and the pension deficit. That's $27 million. So when you say you have $25 million in the bank, but you owe $27 million, what do you really have? What a little boy shy. But you brag. You should be ashamed of yourself for saying a half-truth like that. Because you know it's not true.
Not true.
No, it's not true because some of those funds are restricted.
Well, we have $25 million.
No, here.
Okay.
Look at your own sheet. Your own sheet says $22 million.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
So stop lying.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to address the board?
Okay.
A lot of communications from the mayor's office. Unfortunately, the peace poster contest, the children couldn't make it out tonight because of the weather. Would somebody like to make a motion for the approval of a request for an executive closed session under section 2C1? Personnel will change. Trustee Williams, with Trustee Lynch. Any questions? Clerk Williams, call roll.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
Yes.
Trustee Rowe? Trustee Taylor? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Aye.
So I'm going to make a motion for the approval of a request for an executive closed session under section 2C11, litigation with action to be taken in reason to reconvene. So, Trustee Lynch.
Second.
Trustee Brown. Any questions? Clerk Williams, call roll.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Taylor? Yes. Trustee Rowe? Trustee Lynch?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
The next item on the agenda is, we've got inquiries from basketball, from the Hawks, and also the Cougars, and also baseball for an annual contribution to them. We don't necessarily need to decide on that tonight, but if we want to do that, I would suggest we pay the sports programs out of our ARPA funds that we have saved. Somebody like to start the discussion? There is in between $2,500 and $5,000.
How much have we grown?
Well, that's, we have in the past, but most of them are obviously.
Is there, did they, so, are they asking for 2,500, 2,500, 5,000, or are they asking for 5,000?
Well, they want as much as they get. So,
Now, I don't see reasons to give more unless there's, if they spelled out specific needs. What, other than just to have a blanket request, they can continue to make it unless there's some specific things they're looking to accomplish.
you remember the past what the exact dollar amount is that we gave the
say, it's kind of a little bit all over. Most of the times it was the 2,500 was what I kind of recollect, but there was the larger amount that was put out there. Not all programs got it the same that year, but.
Okay, well, would somebody like to make a motion to, for a donation to the three sport programs that we have in town for football, basketball, and baseball, in the amount of $2,500?
I think that we should, I think that if we can recommend, for example, $100,000 for ARPA funds for Christmas decorations, I think that we should be able to give the children $5,000 apiece for their supplies, reinvestment in it, whatever the case may be. $2,500 is nice, but if the max is $5,000, I think we should give them each $5,000. My children have benefited a lot from that, and that was a long time ago. I think I don't even know we were giving them money, but I say $5,000 apiece.
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion to give the three? Yes, sir. Yes, but we're going to have this going on in our bill, so it doesn't affect the budget. Would somebody like to make a motion for the approval of the donation of $5,000 to each of our programs?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it possible that we can table this next meeting where we can find out exactly what the need is? How much they actually need, what their goal is, what they want to get? Okay, so we can have some information, so we can just monitor it, you know, we have some type of idea of what they're looking for and what they would like to do.
Okay.
So let me ask you something. So let's say if they only, if they give you an amount of $1,000 apiece, but here we have 2,500. Are then we're just going to give them 3,000, or do we give them some extra money to invest in themselves? For example, if we table that and they come back and say, "Oh, we only need 1,000," or another team says 700, and another team says, "Well, we need 3,000." So then what do? Do we give one 750, one 1,000, and then the other 2,500? Or should we just do it across the board? How long have they been waiting for the funds?
We paid them last year, right? We paid this fiscal year.
In the fiscal year's almost over.
So there's a motion, we didn't get a motion. You want to table it?
I have a motion, I put a motion to the table. Okay, because that thing, 1 or 2 weeks, and then next week, March the 4th. Okay, it's not like we're asking a long length of time. Okay, we only have a few days to be able to ask some questions, to talk to some of the members there, and find out what's on their mind, what would they like to do.
Okay, there's a motion to table. Does somebody want to second that? Trustee Clark.
I'm all for this ordinance, and I in part agree with Trustee Williams and Trustee Brown. If we're giving donations, I don't think that we're trying to, should be responsible for trying to fund specific items unless they're needed as an anomaly that we need help with, since we go to them and say, hey, how much do you want? I don't think that's the appropriate trend to start. And I think that'll put us in the position year after year where they'll be expecting us to come to them. And I think that the sports team should have an obligation, even if they are written to the budget, to submit a written request yearly. As again, it's not, although we want to support our kids, no doubt about it, I think that they should still be obligated to submit a written request to the board for support. I don't think they should just arbitrarily get it. That they owe us the opportunity to consider and review their ads.
Okay, I'll talk to them all this week. First and second, Clerk Williams, call roll. This is a motion to table.
Trustee Brown.
No.
Trustee Clark. Trustee Lynch.
No.
Trustee Rowe? Trustee Taylor?
This is a motion to table it, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
I'm gonna vote yes, because they want to copy the sports program independent. Attorney's report, 10 down.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, everyone. First item, we have the motion, and second, and then I'll kind of explain the history of this. First item is a resolution authorizing a village representative to execute a power supply contract with the lowest responsible bidder.
Somebody like to make a motion? So, do we have a second? Trustee Clark, why don't you give an explanation?
Yes, the village is a member of NIMEC. I believe that stands for the Northern Illinois Municipal Electric Cooperative or something like that.
John, we don't, not to cut you off, we also have Representative Adam Hoover.
Oh, it's here, okay. Well, why don't you give us a minute better than me?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you wanna go ahead and do that, that'd be great, save me some time. The first thing, my name's Adam Hoover, I help with power. I last presented here probably a year ago, with regards to the municipal aggregation program. That's for residents who are provided a different electric supplier as an alternative choice. They continue to go by ComEd, continue to pay the same as ComEd rate. That program brings in $15,000 annually, still good till 2026, so no action on the residential program. Today, we're here to discuss the village's own power bills. And so we've been doing this for about 15 years now. And what NIMEC is we're a conglomerate of a bunch of municipalities, over 160 of them in Northern Illinois. And instead of you guys going out to bid out on your own for power cost and using a different supplier than ComEd, we go to bid as a whole group. Problem is that our suppliers, and to execute a bid, you can't bring a contract, because power is a commodity, you can't bring a contract to the board the night of the contract and then just execute it the next day. Suppliers will put an extra cost on that whole cost overnight. So what we've done before, and what we're asking again, is to give a staff member signing authority, so on the day of our bid, which is March 4th, someone can execute a contract if they so desire. There is no contractual statement that says you have to execute a contract. It just allows a staff member to execute a contract if they so choose. Just to give you a quick overview of our last contract that you all signed, you guys signed a contract in 2022 that had a rate of 6 cents. The ComEd rate in that time has been everywhere from 7 cents to 11 cents, so you guys have missed all that, and you guys have paid less than that. The total cost over the 3 years has saved you guys $27,000 compared to what we would have paid with the ComEd rate. Any questions about the resolution?
Yeah, we've done this,
Since 2012.
yeah, it's been a long, we've done this for a long time, and it's worked out well for us.
You said, is this the?
Depends on the length of it. I think the last contract was for a year.
For 3 years, which was brilliant. You guys are paying 6 cents when the ComEd rate was 11 cents when the Ukrainian war happened. It was powerful, crazy. You guys or your staff member will have the option to choose a 1, 2, or 3 year deal. If you choose a 3-year deal, I'll be back in 3 years to ask for the same resolution. If you choose a 1-year deal, I'll be back in 1 year.
So I just my only fear is that whoever is selected, obviously, whoever they do, who do we typically choose? Those insurance people? Who makes that decision?
I think it's Brian. I don't know. I think yeah.
So I guess my only concern here is that as a board, we won't know what's agreed to until after we already engaged in the contract.
And that is the problem. You're addressing the problem at hand. Is that the other option is that you guys don't join the bid, and then you guys go out to bid on your own. You guys are about 40,000 kilowatt hours monthly. This bid is about 210 million kilowatt hours, so you get the big group purchasing leverage that we provide. The other option is we bring an individual contract to you, we hold it overnight, and then you guys sign it the next day. Our suppliers, we know, will put a little premium cost on that because they don't like holding costs overnight. So,
Is that negotiable? I mean, are you able to get these suppliers to?
that's what I do. That's why we go to multiple suppliers, and then we find the one that has the lowest rate, and that's the one we execute the contract.
I guess what I'm asking is just, I mean, in terms of having to hold the contract overnight, at least to give the board the opportunity to review. I just, and I absolutely have all absolute confidence in our village administrator to make a professional decision. But I think she says as a board member, you know, we were lucky previously, but if we come back and, you know, it's significantly higher than it was 3 years ago, the board is really, that's a mindset.
That's a great point. So that's where we give Brian the ability, in this situation, Brian, the ability to not, there's no contract with us. So he does not have to execute a contract that day. I'll give you a hint, we think the common rate's going up to about 8.5 cents. So if we have a contract that's over 8.5 cents, we will recommend Brian to return. We'll give him a couple other options, and then you don't have to execute a contract that day. We can say, hey, let's take a pause and not execute a contract. If you can beat 8.5 cents, which we think you will beat, because our group rate has about 15% lower than the common rate on average. If you can't beat 8.5 cents, then we say, hey, let's take a step back and go from there.
So it's not clear, is that we can take a pause once before we engage.
You are just giving him the ability to execute a contract, not mandating him or anything like that. He has the ability to, if he wants to, on our bid date to execute. But if something comes up that he doesn't like, he does not have to execute a contract that day.
Deanna, I believe the people at NIMEC do a good job working with us. So we have experts there that deal in this ball game in this field every day. They know the business, so they do give us the benefit of their expertise as well. So we're not just picking a contract, we're picking a number of years, we're picking a number. We're getting professionals that do this for a living, recommending.
I completely respect that and understand that. I guess I just don't want to be caught on the tail end of engaging in a contract.
We understand that. I completely understand. 8.5 cents is the magic number this year that you hear from me, or Brian will hear from me. If it's over 8.5 cents, I'll call Brian on the phone and we'll discuss options then. If it's under 8.5 cents, my personal opinion, I think it makes sense to do.
So what's the window between the moment our village administrator has the opportunity to engage versus, to receive information versus having to make engage a decision?
Yeah, so each day prices are different. That's what kind of I do all day. But with our group bid, they'll get contracts in maybe Monday night, so the night before. I doubt it, but usually Tuesday morning, and then you should hopefully execute them by 4:30. It's kind of the end of this day.
So rates are pretty, so essentially saying rates are going up every 24 hours.
Moving, I wouldn't say up. They could be going up or down, right? We don't know, but yes, if you wanted to execute a contract for your own home or business or whatever, you would do the same thing. Every morning, usually 10 a.m. is when that happens. So,
Thank you.
yeah. Good questions.
Any other questions? Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Taylor. Yes. Trustee Rowe. Trustee Lynch.
I'm just going to say no, just because of the constraints of the time the decision has to be made. But I have full confidence in our village administrator.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Brown.
Abstain.
Thanks very much for coming out.
Thank you.
Item 2.
Item 2, yes. No, it's the extension of comment from George, so I thought so.
Okay.
Number 2 under me is approval of a redevelopment termination agreement between the Village of Glenwood and the Banna 2 Corporation, and this is for the Chug-a-Lug restaurant and the attached
Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the redevelopment termination agreement between the Village of Glenwood, Cook County, Illinois, and Manitou Corporation? Trustee Taylor.
Second.
Trustee Lynch. Any questions?
Yeah, can we just get a little color? So we-
Yeah, let me give you the history on this. As you recall from a couple of meetings ago, we approved a Class 8 for this property and as well as the parking lot property, which is the next item. He is going to sell these properties and as part of the sales, we're asking for a Class 8. So he's willing to forego the redevelopment agreement. So this kind of closes that circle and provides for a termination of the redevelopment agreement upon the sale of those properties and upon being approved by the county for a Class 8. believe they are paying the jails, last time I checked, they owe a very small amount for the second installment of 2003. They may be paid by now, it's been a while since I checked.
And what's the amount speaking for the Class 8? Do you know?
No, the Class 8 simply is, it's a county program, and when you get a Class 8, what it means is your property is then assessed at 10% level at the residence as opposed to the 25% level that they're assessed at.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Speaking about the action item. What was their last year's tax rate? Do you know what they paid previously?
I don't offhand know.
I guess my concern is what would there be a loss with this? Not, I understand that the county makes the final decision according to regulation. Will there be a loss with this Class 8 versus this redevelopment agreement in terms of sales tax revenue?
If I could, the confusing factor here is Class 8 was already approved a couple of meetings ago, a month ago.
Yeah.
So those questions are kind of moot. What we're trying to do in this exercise is to kill off his redevelopment agreement, which would give him some incentive back when he pays his taxes. That was the trade-off on the night that he was given the Class 8. We presented it as if he got the Class 8, he would hand in his redevelopment agreement, so we owe him no more money.
Which means so he's not eligible for reimbursement.
That's correct. That this kills one of the
Class 8 is after. Yeah, our redevelopment agreements within both these cases provide that one of the conditions there, he's supposed to continue to own the property, which he's not going to do. He's going to sell it off, and I think we're going to put close the upstairs roof quickly.
Yeah, in his presentation to get the Class 8 through his attorney, the improvement he's going to make is a $260,000 glass enclosure structure over the top, and the enhancement to that for us, of course, was he gets to use it more days out of the year. The enhancement for us was the fact that now it took the sound deadening away from the neighbors that we had the complaints about. So that was the trade-off. That's the improvement he's going to make in a shutdown to qualify for the Class 8. We're not reimbursing him for anything.
So I know in our redevelopment, typically the language in there is that they're not able, the owners are not eligible to apply for any of the reductions. So then we lose that opportunity to just move forward with Class 8.
Well, we're not paying taxes for this property, so.
No, but the business owners are. The tax amount decreases.
Right.
When our redevelopment.
He has told us that the current business, although as busy as they are, that he finds that the current situation, even with the redevelopment agreement in place, the tax burden is higher, it's too high for him. So he's looking to manage that better by having a Class 8.
And we don't know what it would cut is, because obviously that's also a decrease in revenue for the village. And forgive me, Chief, I do remember approving this Class 8, but I don't remember the conversation that would, the trade-off would be canceling the redevelopment agreement.
And remember too that 100% of the real estate tax bill being paid by that parcel is all TIF, is all increment. So it won't impact our general fund or our general fund incomes for the next 20, 19 years, or whatever it might be, because his entire tax bill generated from there goes into TIF.
Any other questions?
How long is he going to be closed?
He projected not more than a week. There's a lot of work that can be done ahead of time. He actually has to take a steel column in the center of the building where there's those 4 columns that open for the look through for the floor. One of those has to be bolstered to a point. I think it's the one in the southeast corner in the center of the building that needs to be bolstered by reattaching to the side of the foundation and come across and increase the size of that. And that one lines up to be the center point which holds the roof structure. So a lot of that will be done ahead of time, and the closure will be when it actually gets all opened up, and finished off, and that's a week's worth of effort.
So the court, is he closing on April 15th?
I don't know that it's to that point yet, it hasn't gone through plan review. I know that the structural engineers completed their work, but I see nothing applying for dates, for that. He had to take the resolution that you approved to the county to get, Ira to do his handiwork on the Class 8, and we don't follow that piece.
Any other questions?
But I guess my last question is, do we have any idea when he would close?
He wants to do it before the summer ends.
Okay.
That's all he was indicating.
Okay.
Any other questions?
My question was, is this gonna be actual glass enclosure?
It's a fiberglass type enclosure, see-through, just because of the weight. And the top section of it, the best I can recall.
See the weight of it.
Correct, and it's retractable, it would be in a dome fashion, and without having any kind of structure between it, the heat would melt off the snow, but it's structurally sound to the wind and whatever thing they have to do for the National Building Code, but a section of it on the top is retractable.
Are these the optional potentially on, did he come with these suggestions, or did we present him as an alternative?
This was something that came out of left field from him. He understood, his original was like John had said, that no matter what he does and how hard he packs the joint and everything else, he will still have revenue issues paying it was a $90,000 tax bill or something. It was a pretty high tax bill. So he researched and came up with the idea of, if I could get this Class 8, then that could make me be sustainable. And then we responded back, well, that's great, but you're not getting the Class 8 and the incentive deal. So that's why it's before you tonight to kill off the incentive deal. And then they came up with a suggestion of this enclosure, which then when presented to us, it not only creates more revenue ability for him, it solves a pretty high priority for us in that sound pollution.
Any other questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Lynch.
Marcus, I would like to say, and I only say that chief because I'd like to know what outstanding taxes he has and what the amount is that he's currently in tax rate and what the Class 8 would do, and what that decrease in taxes would do. I just, because I think that as good neighbors, if you're gonna request a Class 8, you should at least be current on the taxes. And you already
That was presented by Mr. Dotson, his tax representative, Adam Dotson was here that night and presented that, and his taxes were paid current, and we made a disbursement several months ago, it was paid current to that quarter, or that semi-annual payment, so he doesn't get off the hook with the Class 8 going backward at all, that would be.
No, I get that, but I still in total, there's no taxes.
I know it was presented when Adam was here, because we were adamant on that, to show what that difference would be.
Yeah.
And he did show it at the 10% as opposed to the 20, whatever.
I don't remember that. That's my reason.
So are we tabling it?
He made the motion, did somebody want to second the motion to table? Guys for lack of a second. So you can keep on. Did you decide what you wanted to do? Yes, no?
No.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Trustee Rowe? Yes. Trustee Taylor? Yes. Trustee Williams?
The motion passes. And Ryan, isn't the liquor store in Chugwater their number 1 and 2 retail tax?
The last time I checked, yes.
Okay.
And yeah, and I agree. I know that they've been really good partners with us, and I want to be. I just think that as a condition of getting tax breaks, you should at least be current. And he very well could have chief presented that information. I would like to know before I say, let's move forward. If I say what that would look like, because you know that's would be a significant decrease in what the village sees in revenue.
Item 3, this is a similar item. There's a correction in here, it's in the agenda here. It says it's between the agreement between the Village of Glenwood and Banner 2. It should be the Banner 3 Corporation. The Banner 2 Corporation is what he used for Chocolate and the liquor store. Banner 3 Corporation is the legal name of the parking lot that he has purchased from the village and which he's going to build his excess parking. So it should be Banner 3 instead of Banner 2. So the motion should be, we need a motion to approve a redevelopment termination agreement between the Village of Glenwood, Cook County, Illinois, and the Banner 3 Corporation.
Somebody like to make that motion? Trustee Taylor, do we have a second?
Second.
Trustee Clark? Go ahead and give an explanation,
Yeah, it's the same thing. This is part of his Class 8 that we approved probably 2 meetings ago, maybe 3. And this is for the parking lot property that he purchased from the village and owns. And he's going to develop that with his excess parking.
Is there any questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Taylor. Yes. Trustee Rowe. Trustee Lynch.
So how does this tie into this doesn't tie into the Class A?
No, this terminates his redevelopment agreement. So he's not going to get both. He's just going to get the Class 8 from the county.
Yes.
You say yes?
Yes, yes.
Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Okay. Village Administrator, you got anything else?
No, that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Village Administrator,
Good evening, Mayor, residents, and guests. First of all, for the report, I want to acknowledge that we had a good Black History Awards ceremony this past Saturday as well. I want to acknowledge that one of the awardees is here with us tonight, Rosemary Prather. So, Rosemary, thank you for everything that you do for the community, for the families, and anyone that has come to be in contact with you has only said positive things.
let's give her a round of applause.
At the same time, I think, we have people that come in and public comment, everybody should be able to say what they want to say, but I think what Rosemary experienced this evening was a negative reflection, in my opinion. And Rosemary, I just want to apologize, and I'm sure you understand that you have our support. So before we go any further, I just want to apologize for the actions that took place. Just to give a brief update from Miller and Cooper, they continue to, they've been preparing detailed documents in terms of anything or any possibilities or processes that they have put together so that when someone comes in, they're able to kind of pick up that document and kind of move forward. They've been getting down from 2 days a week, and the goal is to get down to 4 to 5 days per month. They've been providing Brian with some more training on some things that he needed. They completed the 1099s and kind of got him up to speed with that process. We ran into a few obstacles that we kind of worked through. Brian, as far as Miller and Cooper, did you want to add anything to that before I continue?
No, I'd just like to echo the one comment that Brian also had, was that they're down to 1 day a week, and we're trying to make sure we're going through the balances for the monthly close, and making sure that the variances are very minimal.
Are they submitting invoices on time? Because I didn't see them for this.
They probably will be submitting one coming up soon, because there should be a January to February one that we haven't seen yet. It goes between the middle of the month, so it's January, middle of the month to February, so.
So they're 1 day a week now?
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Brian. The next update I had is that we did have you hear us talk about the econ and consolidation. We did have the hearing last week, which went very well in terms of the consolidation plan between the two dispatch centers, and that was held with the state police. So that will continue to move forward. A couple items that have been requested from the board for presentation. Tonight, I have 3 presenters. The first one is Kevin Strauss from GoGov. So if we can let Kevin in, Kevin has a presentation.
He's there.
Okay.
Right, you can share. He's the host. Kevin, he's in.
Okay. Kevin, if you want to begin your presentation.
Good evening. Everyone do this evening? Excellent. Thanks everyone. We get the screen share going here. I appreciate you giving me a few minutes to present. Get the screen show so you guys can see my screen.
There were documents in your packet as well.
One second. Get this in. Excellent. Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk about resident notifications, basically the concept of the village pushing information out to the folks that live in the community. And, you know, there's going to be a number of different options out there for you guys. One of the things to me that makes the offer I'm about to show you so attractive for the resident, which is obviously a key important part of this, is we're going to allow you to say to the community, look, there's a number of different ways to communicate. It's 2025. So regardless of whether you're age or demographic, we have an option for you that is going to be suitable in terms of the way you can hear from us. And it's going to also create a bunch of staff efficiency because from the software, I'm going to show you all this. We're going to write a message in one place and then essentially send it out to multiple channels at once, meaning as a resident, I can receive your message in a push alert through a mobile app. I can receive a text message, I can receive a phone call, I can check your social media, or I can get an email. So we feel like that is a very legitimate, awesome offer to residents regardless of how you choose to communicate to make that available. And one of the items that I mentioned in that listing was an app. So what we would actually do is build a village brand mobile app for residents to download. So brand means you name it what you want, and then that's how we promote this whole thing to the community. So nothing about GoGov, everything coming back to the village. So a couple of examples in Illinois. This is the village of Montauk, Colorado. This is the village of Oakwood, they call it our Oakwood House. This is Mount Vernon. This is Mount Vernon, Illinois, they call it Mount Vernon. But it's like we work with you to come up with a name that you like, the graphics folks get some graphics that you like. And basically the story to tell the resident would be like, hey, take a few seconds, go to the new village of Oakwood app on your phone, forget about notifications for a moment, all sorts of useful village info right at your fingertips. That's these buttons you see here. We can have this viewer information like, and the whole purpose of this is that if I have an app for the village on my phone, there's probably a lot of information I can grab from there that I would otherwise go to the website for. However, we know you don't want to manage a second set of content, so many of these buttons just pull direct pages from your site. For example, there's a button here that says pay bill. We're not a billing vendor, there's just shortcuts for you guys to the vendor portal we had set up where I can pay and do my thing, and then when I'm done, back to the home screen. Or there's a button that says agendas and minutes. Literally shortcuts to the page of the website with all the agendas and minutes. So literally any page of your site or any web service that you use, we can essentially extract and make readily available here with once have access. Additionally, we do have a bunch of native things we can do, like click the dial number directory, or if you want to have it people on customers, folks like yourselves,
terms of like what the village would send, it's literally anything you want. And we see a wide variety of stuff that goes through here. So these are real customers. You're seeing right here, we got everything from, hey, we're having technical difficulties with a council live stream, or hey, watch our meeting live, or road closures, community events, sewer line inspections, trash collection information, weather alerts, and so on and so forth. And to create this, that would be really, really, really easy. So anyone in the village side of these lights will have that, on staff side of things, will have access to the software we provide, which is completely web-based. And this is where I would get a message to send out. I already have one pre-written just for time sake here for the presentation, but it gets a headline.
Can you go over cost, Kevin?
I could, certainly. So, it's an annual subscription. So, the quote that I've given, this individual has you guys at $4,260 for the year. That is, an all-encompassing number, so that's going to be, no upfront cost to get started, only a 1 year commitment at a time, unlimited usage, and, only go from, yes, let's do it, to something ready to be promoted and used by residents in about 4 weeks, maybe an hour and a half of your time all in. It's a very light lift, to kind of get this thing going off the ground.
Okay, is there any other questions?
Can you say that same thing all over again and slow down just a little bit for me?
Yes, ma'am, the part about the pricing?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. So it's an annual subscription, meaning like you're only committed to 1 year at a time. We do no implementation fees to get started, meaning on top of your first year's fee, there's nothing else to pay to get it going. In that annual fee, ma'am, we do unlimited staff users, unlimited app downloads, unlimited message sends, unlimited remote training, unlimited support. So it's everything you would need for a successful project in the 4260. And the last thing I just mentioned was that we can go from, hey, let's do it, to something live in the store ready to market in about 4 weeks, and maybe an hour and a half of staff time all in.
How many hours is your support?
We staff in person until about 11 p.m. Eastern. After that, we have like an emergency phone that gets transferred around between the teams. With this product specifically, we don't see much support, just in the sense that that's always available. The messages are always sending. We have like our infrastructure, we have all these monitoring tools that make sure that happens. So the user support on this is not crazy typically, because again, you're just writing a message to send it, but in theory, you can call at some point. You will get someone even on the emergency phone.
Doesn't matter what kind of phone that you have, from an Android to an iPhone or a flip phone, etc.
It does not. So we have to look at each channel, and also like we should go with most recent code as well. So the app app is available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. What I mean by that is, to the extent that your phone accesses those stores, there's a billion types of Androids out there for sure. Like as long as you can download apps from either of those stores, which is standard on those platforms, then you are okay. It will be available for you. Text a flip phone, obviously, you're going to have trouble getting it. I think I don't think flip phones do apps. And I apologize, it's 4660. They don't do apps, but that's why then we would offer the text alternative. And that's one of the reasons we think the product is really awesome, because again, you have all these different people and ages. You don't want to just have text messages. We also think you don't want to just have calls, you want to have a mix. So for those types of people, then they would text join to that number for the text. Landline folks, dial that number, press 1, out there.
So it's the same price if someone has a landline, someone chooses to just call, or someone chooses to just text, or voice and text.
I guess I'm just not understanding the question.
Okay, all right, so let me break it down a little clearer. You just said if someone had a landline that they could call.
Correct.
Okay. If someone has a smartphone, they could text.
Correct.
Okay. So also if you have a smartphone, you can call and text.
In theory, you could, but we don't see it used that way. Actually, we have in the software logic built in to not double message someone. So if I from the same smartphone signed up for calls and then text, it would only call me if the text was unsuccessful and didn't go through.
That's for the users. They probably want to be notified.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions for Kevin? Okay, Kevin, thank you very much for your presentation.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for the opportunity. Have a nice evening.
You were saying.
Okay, the second presenter we will have is Josh Anderson from TextMyGov.
Hey, Jones, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
I apologize, my camera has just decided to quit working on me. So, essentially what I'm going to do up here is I'm going to share my screen. Let me make sure that is, can I get the awesome to screen share, please? not be afraid to interrupt me. Again, I apologize for my camera. With Text My Gov, this is specifically tailored to you guys. Now, with Text My Gov, we're specifically a texting tool. In that area, we have three main ways of communication, which you're able to see, and which we do receiving alerts, requesting information, as well as reporting issues. With us, we are 24/7 access to the backend for residents to ask questions or report issues. Because we are a texting tool only, residents can use us whether they have flip phones, smartphones, and any carrier. With that, because we are just texting, there's not an app included with us, an email and no send required for residents in creating accounts. Two big areas with us that separate is the requesting information, or our two-way texting response, which allows citizens to ask questions and or report issues from their cell phones. From there, we also do customized notifications alerts based on groups. We can do departments, and we can even do by geolocation areas. We also include with it the setup team, which is included in the backend and marketing team, which will put everything together, provide you with the necessary materials to not only market the tool, but as well to be there supportive and help everything along. Specifically with Glenwood, there is a few things, and each agency uses Text My Gov a little differently. With the three main areas, we went in for notifications, in which here's a few examples that you guys have. Automated responses, citizens can be anywhere from FAQs to finding how to pay, data bills online, permits, forms, and more. Along with this, we also do automated reporting again. These, once they're completed, are directly sent to the person responsible that is going to need to have those taken care of. This will show up in email, such as I am going to pull up right now. Once an email is received, in this example as possible, we are able to gather information, whatever information you guys would like to be able to be asked to the resident. In this example, we ask for an address, their name, and then a description, or they can upload a picture of that issue as well. Once that is then completed, it is either email or text over to said personnel that need to have that fixed. With Text My Gov, we include marketing materials such as a opt-in widget on the website, where residents can actually go in directly, utilize the tool, opt in to different groups that they want to receive notifications on based on what they want to be informed on. With this, we do a 5-digit short code, which just allows residents to go in and opt in very easily. We also have a database option, which we can guarantee is 40 to 60% of the households signed up day one utilizing the tool. With that, if the council would like, I can actually pull numbers and give an exact amount of how many residents day one could be signed up. A few marketing materials I just wanted to show you guys, and some examples over here, is with the widget and included flyers. We create all these that can be posted to social media, mailed out, and put together. Each one is customized personally to each municipality. Beyond this point, we go into some of live texting. The big thing that's why we just do texting, we don't go into phone calls and others, is because of your open rates that go along with this. So over 85% of phones have been found in the United States are We dedicate your account manager who's there available to help at any point in time and work directly one-on-one with you guys and are there. And then with this, we also include unlimited trading. So if anybody new comes on board at any point in time, or as many people want to be utilizing the program, we do unlimited licenses, and you can use it not only internally, but as well as externally out to residents. This pretty well finishes me up on my presentation. I would like to just ask for any questions and go into more detail.
Does anybody have any questions?
How much is it?
I don't pull up the proposal right now. Brought up over here with it is the proposal sent over. Price is going to be a little more expensive as we do work directly with you guys, and as I mentioned to Brian, we work directly with you guys on price, so this is not set in stone. For the entire software, including all this, your first year is going to be an 8800. After that, it reverts to the 6950. Again, I want to emphasize that this is not set in stone, and we are open to negotiations. One big thing that we do, and I want to offer this as well, is we do have a 3-year initial term, mainly because we found the most amount of residents actually being and utilizing the tool within that first year to 2 years, and then going into the third year, you see your most result and payoff with residents utilizing the program. After that, it just reverts to year 2 year.
What's the enhanced media package?
For this is going to cover all of our extra stuff. So we give a base media package, which is no cost. It'll include your widget, also working with our marketing team. Enhanced media package is where we take care of all of your marketing. This is included in social media posts, QR codes, custom design templates, flyers, tickets, digital, and mailers. As well as we can put promotional videos out or to be posted to social media, utilizing that tool for residents to sign up for. QR codes can also be used not only to sign up for groups, can be used in any way that you guys can think of. If there's certain issues that need to be reported, you're able to utilize those, put them on flyers, or even put them on the back of bills as well.
Any other questions? Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you so much, council, and have a fantastic rest of your night.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, we have one other item in this presentation. We've talked about solar lighting. I've kind of gone through quite a bit with Joe, some with Dave, our engineer. At this particular time, I would like to ask the clerk to allow Innocent Mabanzo in.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, thank you very much for the time. Let me share my screen. Hi, so my name is Alice Mabanzo. I'm working for the company Pond Rush Lighting. We are a manufacturer of solar street lights in France and in the US. I wanted to start this presentation with 2 pictures that was taken in the US in the winter. What I want you to know is it is not because we are in the north of the US that we can not use the power of the sun to light the street. So in Forosh, very, very quickly, Forosh is in business doing solar street lighting and solar street lighting only since 2011. And we installed our first light in the US in South Dakota in 2013. And to this date, we did not have to do any type of maintenance on this light. So of course we know that we're going to have to change the battery 2025 or 2026, but it's been more than 10 years in a very harsh environment, and we did not do any type of maintenance. So solar street lighting is very simple. During the day, the battery recharge. During the night, because there is no more sun, no more photon, the system releases the energy to power the LED light and provide light all night. What I want you to know is not because you guys are in battery are going to recharge every day, every night, every day, cloudy or sunny, and you will have the light on during the next 10 to 12 years without no maintenance. So this is just an example of city we are working with. When I put those ones specifically, because we are standardized into city, we are under contract into city. What this means, it means that, for example, in Syracuse, when the city has to do installation of a new light in a residential street, on the street, or in the parks, or for example, on the tennis court, they are going to use forage lighting. The reason is the reliability, but it's also because of the savings that the city is doing. So when we talk about saving, our system is 100% off-grid. So when I put up to 75% saving, it's very simple. It's, if you need to install a light right now in the street, a new light, or in a residential area, you will spend a lot of time. You will need to do the trenching, you will need to do some wiring, you will need to call the utility. What we are offering is simple. It's a solar street light with a low voltage LED system that can be installed directly by the public works team or a local contractor, and that will work the same night. More than this, because you do not need any infrastructure, any type of trenching or wiring, you are able to put the light in an area of your choice. An example of project we do in Syracuse, the police department have some area where they need to put 1 or 2 extra lights for safety, they are able to do it. The parks where they want to put the light on the basketball court, so people can enjoy a little bit the basketball playing at night until 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. They can do it at a very low cost compared to the grid lighting. Of course, this is 100% of grid, so there is no more billing, no more, you do not need to pay nothing to the utility. So, what are we doing in Forge? Like I was saying, every new installation. So if you have a residential street where you want to put one light at an intersection because you know there is some kid playing in the street, or because you know some people are speeding at this intersection, we can do it. We are also working on aging infrastructure. If you have any type of light off in the city, instead of doing the trenching and the wiring, we can just reduce the existing bays, put a new light, and you will have the light for 10 to 12 years without the maintenance. So the system is very simple. You will have a pole and arm galvanized steel or aluminum, depending on the location. You will have a LED fixture, and of course we offer different type of decorative fixture as well. One batteries, and that's when I'm saying on that point is extremely important. One batteries in nickel, not in lithium. We use battery lithium, but when we are in the north of the US, when we are in Canada, we use nickel battery because they do not freeze with temperature negative. The nickel can handle minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit to plus 158 degrees Fahrenheit as a normal working temperatures. As for all, every city, counties, and DOT we are working with in the US, and this is what we are doing, we are offering an 8 years, 100% warranty, including the labor. With that, we are not offering the software, because this is, calling this a software will be maybe too much compared to what we just got as a presentation. This is just a very simple radio system. Why? Because everywhere you are in the US, everybody is able to use a radio system, and we're connecting the data of the lights. And We do that for two reasons. First of all, we do a preventive maintenance. Example, right now, if you have one light off in the city, the town, on the highway, in the residential street, most likely, your community is going to call the 311 or call the utility. With this system, we will be the one letting your engineering department, public work department, telling, hey guys, we notice that one of the lights is disconnected, something happened, can you verify? Usually there is a car crash or maybe a tree fell off on the lights. But the goal here is to be proactive and not wait for someone to let you know that there is an issue with the lighting. Last thing is, for example, we are doing this right now for the following weeks. Some of our customers, cities, are calling us because there is a storm coming, for example, in Florida or in Syracuse, there is a snowstorm coming. Guys, we need the light to shine at 100% all night for the next 5 to 6 to 7 days, and we are able to do this adjustment directly for you guys as well. So that's it for the presentation itself, and what I wanted very quickly to show you is some example of lights. So for example, this one is in Syracuse, New York. I took this picture a few weeks ago. Why I want to use the exercise of Syracuse is because this is a specific area in the know because they are very cold. Syracuse has a lot of snow as well, and we've been working with the Onondaga County and with the city of Syracuse since 2020 on multiple projects all over the city. And as of today, they are one of our best references about the reliability of the plan. I think that's it for me. If you have any questions.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Andy, can you go into, we talked about the one program, the trial program, can you kind of go into that a bit?
Yes, absolutely. So, and I can put the tree up. And I will start with that before. So, when we work on a project like the one that we were discussing with Mr. Mitchell, it's making sure that we provide the adequate lighting. So, the goal is never to too much light or not enough. The goal is really to put the light where you need it. So, as an example that you see here, we prepare the design, focusing, focusing only on the intersection. The goal is to put the lights during the night where there is a stop, where there is a crosswalk, and to assure that pedestrian car drivers are being seen during the night. On the price side, we are talking about the 5-light pilot project, which makes sense when you start because we have to use a bucket truck to send the pole to you. Not the system itself, but really the pole. It's necessary to use the bucket truck. But the price for the light, complete system is about $4,000 US.
That's the cost of, I'm sorry, that's the cost of the light.
So the 23,000 would be if we did 5 lights, and that's just on the pilot program.
Let's say it again, Brian.
It would be 23,000 for 5 lights, and that's just the pricing for the pilot program. It doesn't have to be specific to the streets that we just put. We just came up with an example of where we could put 5 lights. So if the board were to look at this, we can say, okay, where do we want to put these 5 lights for the pilot program?
So they can also they can survey the area to tell us the most efficient placing for the darkest areas too, right?
Well, the only thing they would do, and Andy, you can jump in here, if we gave them an area, we would have to really kind of survey the area ourselves. broad now. We want to identify areas for, let's say, a police station where we got somebody that's there 24 hours and say, okay, we can see that the light is working throughout the night, there's no flicker, those type of things we have to take into consideration. But if we were to identify an area, just like you pulled up there, we worked on that, I want to say maybe for about 3 or 4 weeks just to come up with that area. We could identify any area and then give it to him, he can just plot it into the Google map.
Because I remember from our conversation, I don't think I misheard, but I thought that they said, although they were out of state, that they still could do a survey identifying appropriate areas where we should consider for lighting. But
absolutely, absolutely, yes. So there is always 2 ways to work on a lot of projects. On a pilot project like this one, we will ask probably your public work team to, or you guys as a council member, to let us know which area you would like us to focus as a priority, which area is going to serve the most the community on a pilot project. On the larger scale project, out of state or not, first of all, we will be there for the first installation to train your public work team on how easy it is to do the installation. And of course, if we have to work with you on auditing some area of the city to make sure that we are providing the adequate lighting, we will do enough.
And does this 20K through for pilot program, is any of that refundable once it's, or does it go towards the cost if we decide to move forward? If we decide not to move forward, is any of that 23 refundable, or is it transferable?
We would own those.
We would own those?
We would own those, which would be maintenance free for the years.
Right. And then the cost of, what's the cost of the battery replacement? And that's every 10 years?
Exactly. So every 10 to 12 years, the cost of replacement of a battery is between 500 to 700, depending on what we're trying to write. So, for example, on what you are seeing, because it's a small residential street, the cost of replacement will be around 500. When we're lighting bigger road with a bigger battery to put more power, more light to them, the cost will be closer for 700. But sorry?
No, okay, I apologize.
But the point and 2 points very important that I want you guys to remember. First of all, it's really the 10 to 12 years with no maintenance and the warranty of 8 years, 100%. We're working with a lot of cities. Of course, we will provide you as much as reference as possible in the north of the US. But the point is, when you put our light in the ground, you own this light. So it will work with no maintenance. We have customers using them since 2013, and more than this, you will have to pay no cost to the utility.
And so what's the cost for a light replacement?
Light replacement in what situation?
So you said the lights will last for 10 to 12 years. What's the cost for?
Yes.
What's the cost for bulb replacement? I think I
Yes,
said $5,000.
so in terms, absolutely, my apologies that I didn't understand the question, so I'm going to switch on that. So in 10 to 12 years, the only system that we are going to replace is the power that you see located here, under the photovoltaic panel. And with this future replacement, you will have a new warranty of 8 years, 100%.
So the only replacement is the battery?
Correct. I thought you were saying how much is it for the whole pole? If we just buy one, it's 5,000.
And they've got different options for poles too. They would have to look at the area determine which one better. Okay.
The other thing, just to add in, just so you're clear, they would come with the pilot program, but then after that, it would be the responsibility of the works department to do the installs.
Yeah, and I think that that's one of the things that caught our attention was that they would do pilot program in our public works department. You know, we would cut costs there with having the company come out for replacement or reinstall, but you know, that's a conversation for public works also at different times.
Is there any other questions?
If I may really quickly, our body for us, what we are doing is even a person, non-electrician, is able to do the assembly.
I have a question. Mayor, have we even thought about how many lights that we may need? Is 5 at 23,000? 10 would be 46,000. And how many lights do you think that we need? Or we're going to talk about that?
Yeah, we haven't determined that, because we want to go through the pilot program, but I know exactly what you're talking about. If we put it on every corner, that's why you get 100.
I mean, but how far do the lights immolate? Like, exactly how many feet?
Exactly as a normal street light. We are replacing street lights. So for very example, if I take a bridge, this one is in Texas because this is the current project we're doing, but I did exactly the same thing in Kentucky. The street lighting stopped working on the highway. Why? Because they have an issue with the hookup. So the only thing they do is removing the whole street light, hacking the electricity, installing our system on the existing, and we are providing exactly, this one, we are providing exactly the same light level that the previous light. We are at the light level required by the state, which is called the Ashton light level.
Okay, is there any other more questions?
Is there any federal money available?
Is there any federal money available?
So-
Question.
Right, so we've started researching grants for it. Andy and I talked about that last week. I know we're gonna look at it and see if there's any CDBG money available, but we're gonna look at some other things. We're still doing some more research on it. And then I will talk actually see if we found anything on his end, and I was also doing some looking on our end, so that's still to be determined.
And I know, Trustee Clark, that last meeting, we had solar plot over in the plaza, and that is the village is scheduled to get a little over 250,000 from there. That's, unrestricted funds that we can use to commit towards that. I know we were talking to try to use some of the ARPA funds, but we could relinquish that and use for a different purpose, but the sale of that property gives us unbudgeted, $250,000+ that at least I think that we could benefit from at least starting the program. So that in addition to potential grants, obviously my conversation with Brian is that we won't intend to light the entire village, immediately. It would be over a period of years, should we go this route of the most applicable locations in the village. So nothing that would happen sporadically overnight, but over a period of years, we would identify areas that we would light up. But I think that sell that property was a good start with unrestricted funds to be able to fund this project.
Is there any other questions? Thank you very much for your presentation. Anything else?
That concludes our report.
Thank you, really, for I appreciate that.
So, Anna, can you give an update on the audit? I'll defer to Brian. Okay.
So I've had a couple of conversations the last 2 weeks with the audit group, and even today, we met this afternoon via the web. We have a list of stuff that we now owe them. They did some more research around our journal entries and still some more payables, so I have some to-dos to find some information for them to go back to them to finalize their audit. I still have a couple things outstanding with the bank to get a collateral statement and our cable CD balance to them. Then a couple of things I had to walk through with Adam tonight around our fixed assets. So we're moving, just not too fast. And the other side of it is, they're trying to fit us in with all of their other work. So it's not like they're grabbing at, hey, we need the work so it's kind of a mixed bag of me getting them information and then also when they have time to fit it into their schedules.
Okay, thank you. Engineering, Dave.
Thank you, Mayor, no report.
Police, Chief Pettifor.
Thank you, Mayor, board guests. Moving over our report for the month of January 2025, we responded 607 calls for service, the majority of those were traffic stops, assistant fire department, alarm calls, CPD officers. We had one major incident I spoke of earlier was the arrest for aggravated discharge. Sir officer attended one activation for the SWAT team for a major accident investigator was activated for one accident in another jurisdiction. There were no major crime call-offs in January. There were several arrests throughout the month, majority for domestic battery, traffic offenses such as driving while license to road, which is suspended, DUI, warrant arrests, battery, the highlights there. As far as training, our officers received training in legal matters regarding new laws in 2025. Our officers were also certified or recertified in CPR and AED use by trainers within the fire department. Thank you very much. Certain officers also received training in arrest tactics, accident construction, and tactical training. We have a safety tip out there on our Facebook and out there regarding tax season, so beware of scams. We've got those listed on our Facebook as well as our website. I met with the monthly meeting with the Public Safety Advisory Committee with Representative Felipe to discuss legislation efforts for safe communities. Current concerns we talked about were the repeat offenders for juveniles with guns, unregulated hemp being sold, and other concerns in the area. The department, along with FD, participated in our monthly lunch with the law and first responders at Brooklyn Junior High. As stated earlier, congratulated Paul Schmidt for his retirement. Thank you for 27 years of law enforcement, and to those Roanoke residents and all those that was helped throughout the years we wish to discuss in the future. I also thought to just address, there were a couple of comments that came up, or questions or suggestions that came up during public comments regarding the police department. As far as the scheduling, our schedule is set by our contract, so there's really no flexibility for me to establish shifts with really in there. That is something that the village and union agreed to many years ago. Our current schedule, there are two options: 4 days on, 2 days off with 8-hour shifts, or 12-hour shifts with 12 on, 12 off. Those are the only two options we have for shifts, and those are chosen by the actual union members at the beginning of every new contract that we ratify. So we're kind of looking there as far as scheduling. As far as vacation, I do have the ability to restrict vacation time, and I've done so pretty much to the maximum amount. Our contract will let us, without causing mutinies or driving officers to other departments. Time off is one of the things that people, especially first responders, officers value, and we will manage that as best we can with the limits of our contract. And as far as the sergeants, we operate in our world, we have a span of control. It's much like the military, where each supervisor should only be responsible for a department our size between 4 and 6 people. Right now, we have, our ordinance allows us to go up to 7 sergeants, we have 5. And we're on 8-hour shifts, so we have 2 sergeants on midnights, and 2 sergeants on afternoons, and 1 sergeant on the day shift. The midnights and afternoon shifts are where we have the majority of our younger officers. We have a good amount of experience on local shifts, but those are 2 shifts where they each have a sergeant. So normally you'll have 1 sergeant, 2 or 3 officers supervising at any given time. As far as day shift, we do have 1 sergeant, but we also have, that's the most coveted shift, where we have the majority of our senior officers. Most officers on the day shift have well over 20 years or right around there, so there's not a lack of knowledge on that shift. So we do have plenty of supervision on the shifts normally, and that's one of the things. I'm certainly open to any suggestion for changing that, but that's kind of the explanation of where we are as sergeants. As far as when our sergeants now do retire, we do have an active list of applicants who have tested, who've gone through the whole process that the police and fire commission put out. to make a list for new sergeants, so when there's a vacancy, the next vacancy, we do have a ready list of a few officers who have passed the sergeant's exam, and they'll be ready to take place, so the succession plan does exist. You know, again, going back to the scheduling, you know, we're to do anything such as, you know, alternate schedules or any extra stringent restrictions on vacation, we would, you know, rightfully probably receive unfair labor practice from our union and cause further problems, you know, with the department. We know we would lose because we would be acting outside the agreed to contract. That's the result.
Thank you, Chief. Glenwood, Phil Robbins.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. I do apologize, this report did not get into the packet, but copies on you should be in front of you there. 3-year January revenue trend. Obviously, January and February are our slowest months, but we were able to have a 20% increase in revenue over our 3-year average. Banquet food and beverage was up 7%. We contribute the golf operations boost to increased rates in simulator traffic. Year to date is on the next page. I'm not going to go through the entire spreadsheet, but total revenue year to date 1,656,242. That is a 16% increase over 2023. Expense analysis, year-to-date expense analysis. Total expense, labor 498,442. Other expenses 834,243, totaling 1,332,685, with an estimated net profit year-to-date of 323,557. Observations for this: Glenwood is in a good financial position with the winter months winding down and the golf season just around the corner. We do have a majority of our season pass revenue, which comes in the next 2 months. One comes in to pay for the season once the weather warms up and they come out for the first time. That concludes my reports. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, we are bringing the Mother's Day buffet back this year to Glenwood. First time since 2019, and Root Card holders will get a 20% discount on that. So you should see advertising for that coming up first week of March. And then item 2, seeking approval for the 2025 golf rates, as discussed at the golf committee meeting. Those minutes should be the last page of that packet I gave you in front of you. So it's about, we discussed and we decided on about 7 to 8% increase over last year. That does include the new state tax, which is applied to the cart revenue. So once again, that price will include that. If you see that on the one handout where the 2025 proposed rates. So I'm seeking approval for the increase in these 2025 rates.
Somebody like to make a motion for the approval of the 2025 golf rate and amended banquet hall route card discount program as recommended by the golf committee.
Oh, wait, we can discuss that. I was going to do one at a time, but we can do them together if you want.
I just did.
Okay. All right, so the root card discount.
One second, we're going to get your first and a second and then more discussion.
Okay, sure.
Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make it.
Trustee Clark, we have a second.
Second.
Trustee Lentz, go ahead.
Okay, so the second part of this is the root card discount. There should be one of the flyers there on your desk there. Basically, the discussion was to try to streamline it. If you look at the breakdown for the banquet hall discount, it's based on the number of guests, which it's very hard to articulate. But a lot of you get arguments with residents, and they want more discount. We're going to have this many people. They might not have that many show up. So we decided to streamline it. So recommendation from the committee is to do a 20% flat discount to root card holders. and a 30% discount if they do a bar package with us.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
How many root cards do you have? Who gets a root card? How does that work?
That is issued from Village Hall. Last saw, I think it was, I don't know the numbers, but approximately 500.
Is there any other questions?
Is that first come, first served?
No, they can come over anytime. They just have to renew it every year.
That's based on the fact that they're paying real estate taxes in the root card.
So it's only 500 cards?
Yeah. If that's what they'll know, I don't know.
I don't know the exact number that would have to come from. That's what the numbers I see from the cards that are presented at the golf course.
Any other questions? Clerk Williams, call roll.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
trustee Clark, trustee Lynch,
Yes.
trustee Rowe, trustee Taylor, trustee Williams,
Aye.
Is there any new business? Is there any old business?
I have some old business I think is old, or it's getting old. I don't know. I just want to know, Mayor, how do you stop things like that happened tonight? I understand that residents, because we're residents too, and I understand that residents get a little hot maybe, a little terse, but there's no reason at all that when we live here together that we should disrespect each other and allow one person continually to call names, to disrespect somebody, call them out of their name. I didn't even know what was happening when I was all the way in the back getting water, and I just heard commotion. I'm like, oh my God, there's something happening in there. And when do you stop that behavior? Chief, how do you stop the behavior from anyone? It doesn't matter if it's him, me, you. I don't think that we should subject ourselves to that type of disrespect. And you know how I feel about disrespect. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't make sense if we sit here and we just take it and we don't say anything, and it's wrong for anybody to do that to anybody. I don't care if you don't like the mayor. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if the budget is not passed. I don't care. We should not have to be disrespected and just sit there and let somebody continually do that. Period.
One thing we could do is
Constantly. I don't know if it's new, it's old, it's new, it's mediocre business, but it's bad business. Period.
Yeah, the only one thing we could do is enforce our ordinance, which is either the person that comes on the to the public, we could, I forget the ordinance, if it's 3 minutes or 5 minutes, I mean, they can come up and say what they want, and we don't go back and forth with them, we just listen. Is there any other old business?
Yes, Your Honor, I just wanted to announce, because I'm older, I guess, but I was selected to represent the Illinois Fire Service last week in Washington, D.C. We met with 9 different senators and representatives about funding for the fire services in Illinois. It was a lot of walking. We met all 9 of the, usually we meet with their staff. We were lucky enough to meet with each and every one of them. And had a very good conversation about the current situation of funding for grants throughout the United States, but specifically in Illinois. Got some good assurances moving forward. It not only dealt with the position at Mavis that I hold for statewide response, it was with the local level of grant funding, with the AFG and SAFER grant and things like that, because those have all been put on hold too, as we know. But we made great pitches, and I think that we're going to see results from our visit there. It did not cost the village of more than 1 penny to send there. So I appreciate being able to do that. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Can I ask a question? The closed session items,
like to make a motion to go into closed session?
So, trustee Lynn.
Second.